Hey everybody, clearing. All right, this is going to be a life purpose reading for the connections, because these connections really do bring in game changer, next level benefit, solution into the world. When we heal, when we clear our karma, when we step onto path because we found our own solutions, we are activated into the world. And these connections are a way of awakening us. They go hand in hand with where we're already at on our awakening journey. And then it layers in this beautiful, diplomatic, sovereign, connective energy. There are no other outlets for these kinds of lessons than this high-level spiritual, pristine, balance experience that we get through these kind of journeys. So let's have a look at what these journeys are assisting humanity in through purpose, and where we're at on all the chakra levels. So thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What can we see for the collective that joins me here? The masculines on the left, the feminines on the right, regarding higher purpose and how these masculines and feminines are learning from the journey and what they are bringing through as a result of their experience on the journey. So the masculines are going to have two cards, two decks, one for how this journey is helping calibrate them, and one for the awarenesses and giftings coming out of it. And the feminines will also have a deck for how this journey is honing their wisdom and consciousness, and the current fruits of that process for the feminines. Last deck shuffling here. We are also coming into eclipse energies, and I am going to be doing readings on those themes coming up. I'm already starting to get some of the awarenesses connected with what this particular eclipse transit is going to be for 2025. We'll get into it in another time. It may come through because it's coming through a little bit like this in this channeling, but that's not the primary focus here. So having said that, this kind of activation towards purpose and service might have to do with this eclipse energy. So anything that is being eclipsed out will be freeing us to go more fully into these aligned paths, and anything coming in for us will be aligned with these collaborative paths, these establishing paths for service. Okay, crown chakra. For the collective, what are we getting? 9 of air, rising above the anxiety, coming into head-heart balance, unifying, internal union. This is a beautiful 9 of air. In many decks, it's a very anxious card, but this person is gaining their wings, and they're seeing interdimensionally with the birds or messengers. They can fly between, land and air, and go between grounding and innovative thought is what I'm getting from that. So universal attunement, repatterning, and guidance. When we're in anxiety, we're stuck in the limitations of the material perspective of life. When we align with the bigger picture, the universal picture, the crown chakra opening, these things are coherent. They're no longer in dualistic pairs. It works together is what I'm getting there. So right now, purpose emerging has to do with seeing things in unity conscious ways, not in polarized ways. And this solves the dilemma of the anxiety that comes from our heart knowing something to be true and our mind not understanding how that could be so. We're healing that. We're bringing our mind into coherence with our heart. This journey teaches us the skills, the methods, the perseverance, the patience, all the things love is. This journey teaches us how to validate our heart with our own understanding, our own wisdom, and this higher universal truth through the crown chakra. So how has this journey been supporting the masculine and the feminine? Okay, so the masculine is heavily seeing how the feminine in general is equal to the masculine. We are coming out of a time on the planet where there were witch burnings. There was prejudice against the feminine way, the patriarchal swing into that very big imbalance. These divine masculines are seeing eye to eye. They are absolutely understanding the unity, the equality between the masculine and feminine. And for the feminines, they're seeing what is warranted, what is justified, and what isn't. I'm getting very heavily karmic marriages, forced monogamy, dowry systems. And you might be thinking, oh, that's all antiquated. But no, it plays out in our subconscious. We're still conforming to so many of these previous ways and coming out of it, seeing those kinds of things. So this can be looking at legal marriage in a completely different way, but seeing the inner workings of why those templates were lopsided. When we come into this universal calibration, we're no longer stuck in what we're modeled. We're innovating, we're seeing a different aspect of it where our head and heart can both be at ease and support it. So we're not at odds. So there's not that hypocrisy going on. So the feminines have been learning where the hypocrisies were, where it may look one way on the surface, but be a vastly different thing underneath, or where the heart knows there's got to be a better way, but not having any examples to follow. What is this doing for the masculines? What are they becoming aware of at this time? Ooh, that they can pray, that that's not uncool. We've got a lot of soul going on here for the masculines. So they're seeing their feminine on a soul level, and this is inspiring them to actually connect consciously with the divine, with the universe, with higher guidance. And this is helping them bring coherence to their at odds, you know, the logic and the what the heart wants. So they are learning they don't need to have all the answers, that a masculine or masculinity doesn't mean that they are expected to know everything at all times. They are now understanding how elegant it is to ask at each junction point, each decision, each awareness. They are praying without ceasing, and this is bringing them into equilibrium, emotional equilibrium. What are the feminines coming to? That they are high priestesses, that it was not them that was flawed or unworthy in these broken templates. It was the template. So, you know, this is the magnetic AF energy, feminines: mercy, humility, compassion. So staying in your knowing, staying in your righteousness, staying in your seat of consciousness that does know the peaceable way, the bigger picture, the more love-filled way, the balanced way, the tempered way, and that all of these things, these too shall pass, I just heard. So waiting it out, not so much waiting for your masculine, but waiting for these energies to be released and waiting for the new to be available, these new higher love potentials to actually come in. You're not settling. This is AKA not settling because you are aligned with that divine inspiration. And when you tell yourself you don't need to settle, guess what? Your head and heart misalignment, because you're no longer trying to fit into something that rubs you the wrong way. And you know, you may any control issues has to do with that. So this is also a non-issue, non-action, because you're not needing to control any longer. You're coming into the alignment that says what is for me can't be lost, and when things align, that's when it clicks. So no more sales pitch, no more trying to convince, no more moral code, no more momming any masculines. This is the justified readiness for alignment. And this is being given on a higher level here, pacifying the anxiety where our hearts and our minds are at odds. Beautiful. What can we see for this higher purpose? So remember, this new way of being authentically embodied is the purpose. We are calibrators on this planet, and each one of us that comes into peace, into balance, into non-attachment, into sovereignty, into wholeness is exponentially assisting the planet. As we do that, 100,000 others at minimum through the ripple effect, the butterfly effect, are affected by this process. What can we see on the third eye? Ace of Earth, this new beginning that wants to come in. The Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Earth is interesting. To me, it's a union card when it's in the inverse like this, because the masculine is the sun, the feminine is the moon, and the Ace of Pentacles can represent 1 year. So when we get the masculine sun being a year and the feminine being a month, we get 6 months meeting in the middle. So this, to me, is a union formula card. Golden seed, light, wholeness, warmth, and well-being. So this shows me that intuitively we are on the same page. The masculine and feminine are perceiving the connection with the same degree of safety right now. Sight unseen, at a distance, there seems to be an understanding that things are well with each other's soul, and that there is a capiche kind of energy between the two. What are the masculines learning about this 1111, this calibration towards this well-being? Many times in codependent relationships, it's just tension. There is not a well-being. There is pettiness and animosity and an eye for an eye, and you don't love me and blah, blah, blah. It's imbalanced. Here we have been honing this peaceable energy together. What are the masculines? Yeah, the lovers. They're seeing the higher love grounding into the physical through this connection. What is that doing to inspire them to their purpose? They're seeing how emotional fulfillment is not only possible, but it is the way of the future. So they're deeply encouraged by what is possible, because they have not seen feminine energy in this aligned, amicable righteousness before. It was a mirage whenever they tried to go towards it, is what I just heard. So this is the only and first relationship that soothes their soul, that comforts them, that gives them hope, that feels grounded, that actually sees that you, divine feminines, have balanced your emotions. You're not Jekyll and Hyde. You're not volatile. They see that they could have it all here, actually, not just, hoping they could have it all. They see you as time and time again staying in the alignment that is indicative of it all. What are the feminines getting from the connection? That rebirth is possible. I'm heavily getting from this that they have seen you masculines actually evolve. We always hear that when a masculine loves a feminine, they change into their highest potential. And these feminines are seeing this happen in real time. And they're seeing this amicable, this affinity coming in, and there's so much safety, there's so much trust. These feminines are seeing you put your money where your mouth is. This is your action speaking louder than words. For truly aligned connections, it doesn't even have to be explicitly explained. These feminines are watching it. They see the revelation because they are connected to source, and the divine is showing them in real time what they can appreciate this way about you masculines. So this is where it's at, everyone. And this is the purpose, when we're actually understanding with spiritual maturity how to identify energies with mastery and see it for what it is when it's actually there. This is not about limerence, making something there that's not. This is actually seeing two free will individuals giving and taking on this level, exchanging in reciprocity, this process, this journey, this becoming. So we're beginning to very much see the actual indications in the physical that these great changes are happening. How is this inspiring the feminines? Yes, the Trinity. So this is the first relationship that the feminines have been equally balanced with ever in their life, with their connection to source and the divine masculine's connection to source at the forefront. This is the divine template. This is how it's meant to be, equal and with source and purpose and that contribution into the world at the forefront. This is the equivalent of the masculines believing that all things are possible in this connection because of emotional balance, and the feminines are seeing here how it can actually collaborate in the physical for the first time with the divine as the core connection here. So it could only be divinely led, and that comes through free will. We have to actually invite that and cultivate that in our lives for it to be so. It doesn't happen by chance. And these journeys do not have to be enmeshed and with control paradigms and imbalances and hashing it out and navigating and, negotiating all the time, because when two people are divinely led, it's very obvious whether or not there is an alignment between the two, a synergy or not. When you're divinely led, first person, you don't have to guess whether someone is for you or if it's aligned, because you see and know on that level when that is the case. So this is on the intuition. There's peace here. What a message. Throat chakra, what can we see for purpose? King of Air, legal, financial, excellence, and seal of clairsentience, clarity, knowledge, channeling, and unification. So this piece that passes understanding, that is in this level of intuition, it's coming out through the way that we navigate, the action we take, the decisions we're making financially, legally, but it's unified. So those messages about, this isn't limerence, this is actually seeing the actions of the two playing out parallel or in an affinity and going towards a unified destination. We don't need to be attached to what that's going to look like, but these decisions that are being made, that the two likely know that the other one is navigating, it is bringing in union, but it's coming from channeling source. It's coming from source. It's not coming from negotiating and strategizing together. It's coming from the downloads that each are getting from source, and it's becoming evident in the physical that the two are actually on an aligned course of a path, a trajectory, because both are channeling these high-level awarenesses, decisions, legal, financial. It's going in a streamlined direction. What are the masculines learning about this? The Hanged One. So they're seeing things in a totally different 180 flip. The Hanged One is where we look at things energetically, almost 180 for what, the material realm would indicate. That doesn't mean it's always opposite or that it's always a paradox and we're always going to have to do opposite state. No, it just means that on the surface, it can look like this connection is whatever, but energetically, we see through this divine sight how opposite that is. This is so much more real. This is so much more aligned. These connections are so much more legitimate because they are energetically founded and therefore energetically consensual, because it's actually energetically connected, energetically aligned, and divinely guided in such precise ways you cannot fabricate it. You can't manufacture it. You have to be self-directed in mastery in order to actually do this sort of alignment sight unseen or without collaborating in the typical material realm ways. These connections are evident that they are aligned because of the changes that are happening in each's life, because of the way that the story unfolds. And this is the new way of looking at connection that the masculines have honed through this journey. They've gotten out of their own way and they're starting to make sense of the things that are playing out through this universal attunement. How is this inspiring them to purpose? They're dropping the control issues and trusting that they are these divine masculines, is what I'm hearing. The Emperor is the king of all kings. And so these masculines are seeing themselves as such. They don't have to prove it anymore. They're seeing that they have always kind of walked to the beat of this drum, and that they have been trying to be a square peg in a round hole to fit in with society. And when they stop doing that, they come into the recognition that they have been more on the inside than they could have ever imagined. They have not been the ones on the outside, the outcast. only from society, only from the material realm perspectives. When they come back into remembering their God selves, they are more present, more validated, more whole than they ever would have imagined when trying to look at themselves from the lens of the status quo. And this is where they sink into acceptance that they truly are unique and that is part of their divine gifting in this lifetime. What are the feminines learning from the journey about this union? That when they wish for it, that the heart wishes are both the announcement of which direction they should go and a vehicle that they can manifest further through. So let me break that apart. Our heart knows. How does our heart know? Because that's where the divine instructs us. When we know something and we don't second guess it and we don't make it weird by overthinking it or gaslighting ourselves, we can act as though we do believe. And those choices we make when we're in faith about what we're getting on the heart space, those choices are different than if we are in skeptical energy. When we are obedient to our heart, when we are aligned with that, when we are not struggling with worthiness issues, we just go with the flow of what our heart is saying. We trust it before it makes sense. And so we also can move our journey forward when we're in that state of trust in the higher plan, in our heart. We trust ourselves. And so the feminines are learning that they can channel this and make excellent decisions just by acknowledging what their heart is telling them and acting accordingly without second guessing it, really trusting it. And that doesn't mean, manic rebellion energy. Again, that heart's message, it will never ask you to hurt yourself or anyone else, and it will never be urgent without instruction. So you will have profound clarity. The operative word is clarity. You will know what you're meant to do when you're getting a divine instruction. If you're getting a divine instruction, or if you're getting a nudge to go in a certain direction, but you don't know how to do it, you're at a developmental stage where you're learning to trust that you're actually getting awarenesses. It's embarking. If you don't have the instructions, don't panic. It's part of the developmental stage. When you hone that ability to channel and get out of your own way and remove the fear, and you cultivate it through discipline over and over, you'll start to get more and more specific instruction. And that's when you know you're meant to act on things, but not when it feels manic or fearful. You're going to have peace. When it's truly divinely guided, you will have clarity, you will have peace, you will be definitive. It won't have an uncertainty in it. It will be very, very absolute that it is appropriate. So this is the journey that the feminines are on with regard to decision making, action. They are being animated by divine will. They are allowing themselves to be a vehicle. How is this emerging? Wow, we got the 10 of Cups here in the yin yang with the masculines. So this love, this holy grail has been helping. So we get the 9 of Cups to the 10 of Cups. The feminines are the living Tao of this higher love, and it's coming through in their actions. A lot of times feminines are the ones who talk a lot, but even the feminines are starting to, live in alignment, in accordance with this truth, the loving truth, not the guesswork. And this means no more rebellious choices. This is the feminines living in impeccable righteousness and climbing up this ladder of single focus in alignment. What can we see on the heart space? The world and gate of returning. So I'm hearing karmic lessons have been learned and closed out, seen for what they are, and now the coast is clear for the return here. How are the masculines experiencing this? 3 of Pentacles. So they're seeing how this could work in the physical. They are actually seeing that through everything that's been done. The two of you have been doing this, whether you're talking to each other or not. In the physical, you've been making choices and decisions on parallel with each other that is actually bringing, and I also see that the masculines have 2 berries and the feminines 1. So the masculines are double time catching up to the feminines to reunite. We got gate of returning. So on the heart space, everybody in these connections is feeling, they are feeling this closing out of the things that have kept these connections at bay and this return energy coming in. So the masculines are seeing now how they're being drawn to collaborate and to reunite now that the work has been put into the physical and certain steps of the process have been closing out and emerging. It's becoming more appropriate for the masculines to initiate more time together. What are the feminines learning from this journey? The destined path. This is also the star path of destiny, which talks about that influence, the Jedi level. So the feminines are starting to see with humility how important these missions and life purpose and this journey has been to propel both to their highest potential, to their divine potentials. And okay, so crossroads. This is showing the feminines might have a curiosity right now about the timing and about if this is going to be or not be as a romantic relationship. So the feminines are sort of poised and wondering, is this going to be romantic? Is it going to be mission? Is it going to, branch off? Right now, they're just staying in this presence, readiness, I would say. So the feminines, it's not up to the feminines to engage in this reunion energy. These feminines know that it is the masculines who must vote fully, wholeheartedly, if this is going to come in. The feminines are no longer wishing to take that action. They are trusting that what is for them won't be lost, and they are looking at the masculines on the table here to see what the masculines are going to do. And part of that surrender is allowing for the destiny to unfold and for this full release of control about whether this masculine that you're watching for is going to be your divine aligned partner. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't hope that these particular masculines are. There is just this incredible transparency and safety coming in that with or without this masculine, it's all been worth it, and that there is a preference for this masculine. So masculines, your feminines do love you. They want you. But if you are not the one for them, they don't want to unduly cling to something that falls short of what is really meant for them if it's not you. So, they want it with all their heart. They want it to be you, and they are aligned with that, but they're not going to force it. They're not going to be the one that makes that happen. That would be more of a karmic motion. What can we see on the solar plexus chakra? Wow, the sun. I love it when that comes out on the solar plexus. Crystal capacitor, storage, time, release, and focus force. So this is the sun coming out, the masculine coming in. And this is the time capsule. This is, divine timing at play here. And when it's empowered, it's impeccably aligned with divine timing. So this is the solar, like the masculine having to come into this assurance before they come in. Anything short of being fully ready would be a lie, a falsehood. It would be fake. And the masculines cannot bear to come forward, feminines, until it's absolutely time, because that would undermine what you're worth, and it would not be genuine from their side. It would be fear-based if they came forward too soon, or it would be they would know they were letting themselves down in you, because it would be a lie that they were ready. And so these masculines are waiting for this perfect timing and this becoming it. We're seeing the indicators that these masculines are becoming more and more prepared to actually love you the way that the divine has made us to love each other. What are the masculines learning from this journey about this inner bravery, that they have only themselves to trust, not any external, not even your pressure or your preference. They have to trust themselves and their connection to source. This is the 7 of Wands, so it is that prayer all the time. And how is this leading them into the world? Here's the Queen of Wands for the second time. So we've got divine feminine twice here. And so they're not only thinking of their readiness, they're also thinking of your readiness. And they have their ways of knowing in the way that the divine shows them through you, through sign synchronicities, through mutual friends, through direct prayer, your readiness. And, you know, it's not just about their readiness. They know what the divine shows them about your well-being more so than you know, because they are your safe container. So let these masculines love you by not coming forward prematurely if they're not ready, and not coming forward prematurely if they don't see you ready, feminines. What can we see for what the feminines are learning on the solar plexus? What patience is, what long suffering is, what allowing for the process to work out in the best way is, what loyalty is, what time tested and true is, what standing the test of time is, what legacy is. This is what the feminines are learning about the timing in this. What is being inspired? That this is their person, that you are their one. This is the husband card, the life partner. This is the entrepreneur card. So the feminines, these are, you know, this is full abundance in the physical. This is financial abundance. This is emotional abundance. This is energetic. This is the energetic consent that came through. This is the full wholehearted awareness and knowing that this does make sense on all those levels. At first, it may have been unconventional and not made sense by worldly terms, and now energetically, there is no other connection that makes more sense for everything that has unfolded and played out and been shown to each other through their understanding as being given by their connection to source about the connection. So it's not about what each wants in an earthly way, like checking all the boxes, a wish list. This is actually having seen the evidence of these aspects of character, integrity, righteousness shown without even asking, because we've had our eyes opened energetically to see these things actually in unlikely packages, in very unusual combinations of people that transcend all kinds of stigmas and obstacles. We have been shown this. It's an intuitive knowing, it's an observable knowing, and it has happened time and time again and confirmed this connection. It's truly empowered on this level. So the masculines have been waiting for you to see this, feminines, without them even having to tell you. I want to say to my person, I see you. What can we see on the sacral chakra? 10 of fire, ending the burden. So this means no more one-night stands, no more half-hearted intimate connections, no more regrets about the past, no more, you know, condemning ourselves for having experimented with various different connections or multiple people or past relationships. No more condemnation. Everything that we've gone through has been teaching us these soul lessons to come into alignment. True self, passion, motivation, purpose. But the learning has completed. We saw the world. We saw the sun coming out. We see this return. We see this time release meant for this divinely timed time. So a lot of people who are watching this are coming into union. You will be coming into union with your person once this alignment, once the burdens are cleared, once this alignment is struck, this righteousness for each. What are the masculine? I got goosebumps. What are the masculines? The sun. So the sun, they are being prepared internally to not have that imposter syndrome. Whatever they're doing right now is bringing back, calling back the pieces of their soul to up the radiance, the quotient of light coming from them out into the world, so that they have no blemish internally, no insecurities, no hesitancy, no imposter syndrome. They're working double time right now to come into doing their best and knowing it. What are they learning here? To have beginner's eyes, to continue to be alert, to, you know, allowing new information to come, to process, to be in center, to be present, to take each step each day as it comes with gratitude, with openness. They're here for it. They have never been more in sync with their understanding of what is appropriate. What are the feminines learning in this connection? that hermit mode isn't always a rejection, that when we deliberately go into hermit mode, it's no offense to anybody. These are the connections where we are able to trust that when the other one needs space, that's actually what's being asked for. It's not a rejection. It's not letting down somebody easy, letting someone down easy. It's easygoing. It's fluid. These feminines have learned this because it is warranted here. And they see it as a process of patience to let go of karma and patience to come into alignment. And like we saw earlier, these feminines are actually seeing these masculines come into their high potential. What is this doing into the connections? The feminines are letting go of abandonment wound. They are no longer seeing this particular masculine as a self-sabotager. They're seeing them going for it. They're seeing them reaching their potential. And so that is the biggest vote of confidence that these feminines have, that they do not have to fear that this masculine is abandoning them like all the other karmic masculines have, etc., or whatever they have assumed about human nature. They see so much more vitality, virility, growth, that it's eradicating the abandonment, the concept of abandonment in this scenario. Wow. What can we see on, and that is the intimate connection. So that is a very personal, romantic, intimate, my person kind of context for this. About the spaciousness, about the timing of these periods of breath and pulse in the connection. What can we see on the root chakra? Queen of Fire for the third time. Divine feminine energy and universal understanding, objective observation. So this has to come into the physical when the feminines are in this alignment where they see the big picture and they know their worth. And this is the readiness the masculines are were waiting for. They didn't even know they were waiting for. How has the journey taught them this? Because nothing else has produced these kinds of peaceable fruits. Nothing else has produced this amount of acknowledgement, of trust, and of love. What is this inspiring in their journey? That they can continue grounding this lover's higher love energy, and this is the person that they can do that with. This is the one. After everything they've done, this is the one. You are the one. What can we see for the feminines? Queen of Wands in the inverse. Know this about yourself for the fourth time. Queen of Wands for the fourth time. Call this in. Do the work, feminines. This is how you bring in your union, as knowing yourself as a divine feminine and falling madly in love with that free will choice for you to embody all of these attributes of this righteousness, of this alignment, of this divinity, remembering your God self. How is this influencing your connection? Here is that impeccable decision making. We got the King of Swords for the second time. This is you making those decisions that are not, defensive or aggressive. This is you staying in your truth and doing you unapologetically. It's its own protection, but it is also the thing that is setting you apart as the divine feminine for this particular masculine. What a nice reading. I'm going to get one more card. Okay, what did we get? We got second chakra, so that is the sexual and first chakra. Wow, okay, so these are coming into the physical kind of energies, and we got presence and balance. Heck yeah, these say. The energy of sacral chakra helps us to navigate our lives through our emotions and supports our ability to enjoy the sensual world. So this is the energetic consent that brings in the emotional availability and the trust that the counterparts are equally balanced. This is talking about the sensual, the sexual consummation, when things have actually been justified to come into the physical. Root chakra says supports our sense of safety in the physical world and reminds us to enjoy our physical bodies. So there is a time coming where we get to absolutely unbridled explore each other's bodies, explore each other's souls, explore each other intimately, sensually this way, because there is no blemish, there is no ulterior motive, there is no hesitancy, there is no wandering eye, there is no other that will do, no other that will do. And because we're reaching balance and presence, balance says, supports our ability to find harmony with all aspects of our three-dimensional and multidimensional layers of reality. We saw the 3 of coins, that's the 3D. So this is coming into the 3D because we've done the energetic work. We can say on every level, even in the recesses of our hearts, I now know, and I know you are my person because of this. We know for sure now. And presence. So it's no longer guesswork or this strange magnetic connection. We're actually seeing the proof that this is why we were drawn to this person. Sometimes we're drawn to someone for the lessons and not for the relationship. To be successful. In this reading, we're channeling energy of successful romantic union. And presence supports our ability to focus our full attention and stay in the here and now. That's monogamy, you know? We can't do that if we've got karma to clear, healing to do, or ourselves to discover and know. When we come into those alignments, we can actually be present fully the way we are meant to with a partner. That's the only way we should be partnering, when it's completely mutual like that. These journeys, as frustrating and as long as they take, teach us how to come into this alignment. And I am seeing the evidence of those lessons here in this reading today. And it is so exciting. All right, many blessings, everyone. Bye for now.